Right, good afternoon everyone. My name is Suyeon Jung and I am a PhD student in sport management. And I came here in 2024, so it's been like 2 years right now. And I am very pleased to share my research area and project as a member of HSES department. And for today's presentation, I'm gonna share my research area, and then I'm gonna share my recent research project as an example, okay? Right, let me start by talking about my research areas. And my research areas can be broadly divided into 3 areas. The first area is sport consumer behavior. Typically, I focus on analyzing the emerging or new trends in consumer behavior in the field of sport management. And then I analyze consumer psychological motivations or antecedents. And also, I focus on behavior engagement and changes through sports consumptions or sport media consumptions. There are a lot of consumer segments, and among broader segments, I usually focus on viewers or audiences of particular sport media content, such as highlight clips or sports documentaries. And also, I focus on users of new sport media platforms, such as Prime Video or Netflix. The third area is more about my statistical tools. And usually, I used quantitative methods such as SEM or CFA, whatever. But recently, I learned machine learning techniques or computational approaches to identify or to achieve my purposes. And this slide shows my academic progress as a PhD student. And I did my master's degree in South Korea from 2021 to 2023. During this period, I focused on finding my research interest or my research questions and learning various methods or statistical tools. During this period, for example, I identified the antecedents or motivations like why consumers changed their media platforms from TV to streaming platforms, such as Prime Video. And by applying existing theoretical framework like UTA, UT2, this is the theoretical framework already includes the motivational factors. So by adapting this theoretical framework, I identified some of the motivational factors for sports live consumption through streaming platforms. As I said, I came here in 2024. So starting from my doctoral journey, I started analyzing theoretical frameworks for sport media consumption. For example, with Dr. Gordon and Dr. Peck, I identified the psychological mechanisms, how streaming platforms consumption media, sport media consumption impacts the psychological well-being. So I identified some of the motivational factors and psychological mechanisms like independent factors or dependent factors and mediation factors. I identified the role of usage motivations and how its motivations impact psychological well-being. During this time, when I applied existing theoretical framework, I found some of the limitations of applying existing framework. So in this study, I considered the new motivational factors for sports highlight viewing or sport highlight consumptions. And using open-ended surveys with graduate students in journalism class, I found some of the new motivational factors like efficiency or fear of missing out when they watch sports highlight. So unlike live games, they watch sports, they know sports games results more effectively or more efficiently, right? So in this study, I found some of the new antecedents for specifically for sports highlight viewing. starting from 2025, I learned some of the computational skills to identify or to examine the trends or emerging sport media consumptions. So in this period, I identified the narrative themes that engage viewers more effectively. And also I examined the viewers' experiences or viewers' emotional engagement through sports documentaries on YouTube. And I'm gonna share this study as a recent example in next slides. Right now, I passed my qualified exam last month, and currently I am analyzing and I am conducting my dissertation. And moving forward, like by applying computational skills or machine learning-based techniques, I am analyzing the longitudinal impact of sports docuseries on social media engagement. So today, I'm gonna introduce my recent research, which is titled What Drives Consumer Engagement in Sports Documentaries? A computational analysis of narrative themes and effective responses on YouTube. Right, quick question. Has anyone watched sports documentaries? Okay. May I ask, why did you watch sports documentaries?
Love the sport and the athlete.
Okay. Others?
Learn more about the day-to-day activities of the athlete.
Okay, like their histories or performance. Okay, others?
My husband had it on TV.
Okay. I know your husband right here. Okay. Others?
Sometimes I feel inspired by the story.
Inspired by stories. So, unlike live games typically just show their players' performance, right, or outcomes. But through sports documentaries, we can know about their backstories, like behind-the-scenes stories, or their past histories, or sometimes we can feel like nostalgic emotions, right? Because sports documentaries feature past histories of specific players like Michael Jordan, The Last Dance. So sports documentaries right now provide unique experiences. So this can be considered as unique or distinct marketing strategies or communication tools to attract more fans, including existing fans or new fans. And also this can be used to generate significant revenue. So do you know Drive to Survive on Netflix? This is currently like season 8 from 2019, right? As the most successful example of sports documentaries, Drive to Survive, according to a lot of diverse industry reports, Drive to Survive helped to grow the F1 fandom, particularly younger generations or women audiences, female audiences. And according to these results, the market share of sports documentaries within overall media content, including dramas, general dramas, or movies, the market share has increased from 6% in 2020 to 25% in 2024. And more importantly, although the number of scripted media content means general dramas or movies or reading books, this has decreased, but the production of sports documentaries has increased. So looking at this table, you can see that the sport media content on Netflix has increased a lot compared with 2015, right? And typically Netflix focuses on sport documentary or sport documentary movies, not streaming content or streaming live content. Based on this importance, previous scholars have identified or analyzed the unique narrative themes of sport documentary, and also they provided the potential positive impacts of sport documentary. And the first line of literature review revealed that previous studies have analyzed the storytelling techniques, and they focused on cultural significance and potential implications using single case study, like single sport documentary. So, for example, they examined the sport documentary, I cannot read this one, sport documentary to investigate how these sport documentary narratives reflect national identity and social realities or social cultural implications. So they typically used like qualitative method. They did not consider actual consumers' responses or actual audiences' responses. These studies discussed the potential role of sports documentaries. And second, a small number of studies recently have explored the positive impact of viewing sports documentaries on viewer behavior and psychological benefits. So recently in 2025, they identified Drive to Survive. As I said, this is considered as most successful example. Drive to Survive storytelling plots that may strengthen F1 fandom. They also used qualitative method. They did not consider actual responses, or they did not reflect quantified data to identify storytelling plots or storytelling techniques. So there are two main research limitations in literature review. First, there is lack of research examining narratives and elements across the genre. That means they always focus on like single documentaries, like single sports documentaries like Drive to Survive. So single case studies hinder the identification of transferable, like generalizable structures and theoretical insights. So understanding common narrative themes that facilitate viewer engagement across diverse sports documentaries is needed to better understand this sport documentary genre. And second, as I said, how audiences actually interpret narrative themes and how audiences actually respond to sports documentaries has been neglected in previous studies. So based on these limitations, my research aims to identify narrative themes that engage viewers on social media and to evaluate their effective responses of these identified narratives in viewer responses across sports documentaries. So to achieve the purpose, this study used narrative transportation theory as like theoretical background or theoretical framework. Looking at this figure, narrative transportation theory describes how storytelling media content, such as sports documentaries or dramas or movies, how storytelling media content result in behavior changes or psychological changes through this narrative transportation process. So basically, they describe the process like which people's attitudes or belief and emotions are influenced by this narrative transportation in storytelling media content. And narrative transportation means like experience, like consumers engage, cognitively engage or emotionally engage with the storytelling media content. Using this narrative transportation theory, previous scholars have focused on identifying antecedents of this narrative transportation because this narrative transportation is the core process for changing their behaviors or psychological states. And also they focused on identifying the outcomes, like positive outcomes of this narrative transportation. So entity stands for narrative transportation theory. Based on narrative transportation theory, transported individuals do not just receive the story passively. Rather, instead, they experience active cognitive processing, such as evaluating the characters or evaluating story plots, or reflecting their past experiences, like when they feel like nostalgic impact. In this process, they also develop emotional connections with the media content or with the characters, or in sports, for example, with the players, with the teams. So these two types of engagement, cognitive engagement or emotional engagement, they do not remain just psychological state. Rather, they manifest in actual behavior. For example, on social media, they can show their behavior engagement through likes, like likes, and also commenting on social media, and also posting, like they show their emotional or emotions about the characters or story plots. So social media behavior engagement, such as commenting and posting, as non-transactional engagement. Non-transactional engagement means they voluntarily discuss about media content, right? There's no reward about their behavior. So as non-transactional engagement, behavior engagement can be considered as outcomes of cognitive processing or emotional engagement. So based on these frameworks, this study posits the commenting as outcomes of narrative transportation through sport documentary viewing, and also as outcomes of cognitive processing and emotional engagement. That means this study analyzed the commenting or comment section on YouTube. The comment includes their cognitive processing, and also comment includes the information about their emotional engagement. Conceptually, documentaries like general documentaries about health or environment, they convey factual information, like objective information, to audiences for educational purposes, or persuade readers to better experience educational purposes. So they typically construct the story by editing or arranging fragmented information and disordered events to deliver knowledge to the public, to the audiences. But sports documentaries, as you know, prioritize entertainment value rather than providing educational content. So the difference between general documentary and sport documentary is that the content. Sport documentaries step further because their content already is contextualized. Like they already have narratives through their games, existing games or existing results or existing players or athletes' histories. Right? So rather than creating the new story or arranging new information, filmmakers or producers recontextualize hidden context to uncover new meanings in already existing games or already existing histories. So as I briefly mentioned, recently they focused on identifying unique narrative themes that used in sport documentaries. They found that learning or social connections or dramatization in Drive to Survive. And also another study revealed they also used Drive to Survive as a case study. They revealed the main narrative elements such as adventure, or ascensions and descensions, or rivalry and sacrifice, and hero characters. They provided the theoretical link or justification between these narrative themes and potential positive impacts of these narrative themes on their fan conversions or to attract more fans. But as I said, they did not consider actual audiences' responses. They just provided the theoretical justification or theoretical link based on existing theories. So based on these limitations, this study used computational techniques to identify narrative themes that engage viewers on YouTube comment sections. Comments have become valuable communication tools that provide information about consumers' interpretations based on their histories or experiences and evaluations. I used two main tools, topic modeling or sentiment analysis. And topic modeling effectively identifies the generalizable themes within the media content, and also this reveals which narratives audiences find identifiable, like relatable. And sentiment analysis provides insights or information about how audiences actually emotionally respond to identified themes. So I proposed in this study two research questions. RQ1 is what narrative themes emerge in viewer discussions of sport documentaries. And RQ2 is how do viewers emotionally respond to identified narrative themes in RQ1. And this study was conducted in three main steps. First of all, I collected video and comment data from YouTube and manually conducted descriptive analysis through this video type coding. And in step 2, I conducted topic modeling, including word frequency and network analysis and structural topic modeling. And third step is sentiment analysis. I conducted sentiment analysis to examine emotional responses to narrative themes or narrative elements. Right, to generate the comprehensive list of relevant sports documentaries on YouTube, I used API, which is extracting tools on YouTube. And I entered 10 keywords to extract sport documentary videos. And I initially collected the 2,683 videos. And then I removed duplicates because there are a lot of duplicates on YouTube. And then I removed videos with less than 40,000 views, and also non-English videos and disabled comment section. So as a result, I used 333 videos for my data analysis in this study. From these 333 videos, I collected about 276,000 comments were extracted using API. I conducted the basic data cleaning process and text normalization to refine my text data. And also I used R's TM package because R programming has a lot of packages to refine text data. And also I defined the customized stop words to exclude the comments that have slang or bad word or offensive language. I conducted STM, structural topic modeling, to identify narrative themes or generalizable themes in the text data. Basically, STM find narrative themes or like generalizable themes based on the calculation how each word appear together, like how each word appear together and how each word appear together in the one comment, and then how each comment share similar patterns across the entire comment. Does it make sense? So STM finds the narrative themes or transferable themes in the text data, like which words appear together within the comment, just one comment. And then they find these themes based on how each comment share similar patterns in the entire comment. So I used STM, and I selected the optimal number of topics based on semantic coherence scores, and this means like, so this is better than these lower numbers, and this means they have different meanings across topics, so not similar topics. And following common practice in topic modeling research, the top 7 words within one topics were assigned based on frequency scores. So basically, I identified 6 themes, and each theme includes 7 keywords. And I conducted sentiment analysis using Vader algorithm in R. And out of raw YouTube comments, I excluded fewer than 5 words and missing values and hyperlinks. And each comment was assigned a compound score. -1 means the most negative emotions, +1 means the most positive emotions. So this is the real example of comment data that I collected. So looking at these words highlighted in pink, they was classified as positive emotions. 1.35 and 1.29, 1 and 3.15. And then they calculated the compound score by adding all these values. So 0 means these people or have one day life feel they do not have meanings like emotionally in this data set. So I calculated the compound score in each comment and then assigned this comment into each topic. Like I have, as I said, I have 6 topics in this data set. And this slide shows the STM results and sentiment analysis results. So there are 6 topics, 6 narrative themes, and each topic has 7 keywords. So these topics' names were named by the researchers based on these keywords, and after reviewing manual examination like actual comments. And as a result, topic 3, overcoming adversity, was the most prevalent discourse, 21.8% within the entire comment data, and followed by topic 4, topic 2, and topic 5, and topic 1, and topic 6. And also the results of sentiment analysis revealed that all identified topics have positive sentiment score because they are greater than 0, right? If they have negative numbers like -0.1, -0.2, that means they have negative emotions like on average. So basically, they all have positive sentiment scores across the themes. And topic 4 has the highest positive emotion level compared with other themes. And on the other hand, when they discuss about rivals or derbies, they have relatively the lowest positive emotions across the themes. Based on these results or findings, this study has 2 theoretical implications and 2 practical implications. First of all, this study advances sport documentary research by identifying main narrative themes that can engage viewers on social media. And also, I provided effective information about the narrative themes from the audience perspectives. As I said, previous studies have some of the limitations, and to the best of my knowledge, there is no research, right? No research quantified or examined the actual audience's perspectives. So the results revealed that average sentiment scores were positive, right, from 0.13 to 0.61. And these results contrast with existing findings in sports media. Previous scholars suggested that fans often show the negative engagement paradox. That means they have high behavior engagement, but they show negative emotions about sports, especially when discussing about rivalries or derbies, or especially when their favorite teams lose. They post negative emotions on social media, right? They post offensive language on social media about the players or teams. So these findings can be explained as the fact that sports documentaries are not live games, right? They are considered, conceptually, they are considered as entertainment media content to induce like positive emotions. And also scripted media content, such as dramas or movies, they are considered as entertainment content in media and communication studies. So I tried to explain this result. Sport documentaries can generate overall positive affective responses as entertainment media content. But although all themes were classified as positive, but as you saw this table, there are some differences between like the level of positive emotions, right? So I believe that these findings can provide narrative psychological mechanisms like which narratives induce the most positive emotions or which narratives induce the most, like the lowest emotions. And this study can contribute theoretical insights to sport documentary research by identifying new narrative themes. And topic 5 and topic 6, for these narrative themes, previous scholars have not identified these themes in previous research. So based on these findings, these 2 topics are new narrative themes that redefine or explain this sport documentary genre. Topic 5 suggests that sports documentaries may resonate with long-time or older fans who reinterpret through their memories or past experiences. So looking at this real example, she said, I don't know, they said, I had beautiful childhood growing up with all of that on my screen. So they just record their past experiences. So this is evidenced by viewers' responses like this and keywords which reflect the process through which older fans record their memories through watching sports documentaries again. And I found that topic 6, which includes legend, perfect, rip, RIP, Forever Got Mischant. And this addresses narratives about historical figures, like retired or deceased athletes and past players. According to social identity theory, which is social science theory, sporting heroes function as symbolic representatives of individuals or collective identity. So these two findings, topic 5 and topic 6, these findings suggest that narratives about past legendary figures like Kobe Bryant or Manny Pacquiao, and also this past glory or nostalgia, these two themes can serve as key mechanisms or key narrative themes for sports documentaries or for attracting more engaged viewers engagement. And this study has two main practical implications. Sports organizations can develop their content or produce their content by using identified key narrative themes, because I identified narrative themes that effectively engage viewers. So this approach, like using the seasonal journeys, including behind the scenes or revisiting the careers of past legendary athletes, this approach can provide opportunities for attracting existing older fans, or for this could be helpful for new fans to know about their past histories, past experiences through sport documentary. And also they can use the metrics such as sentiment scores differences and topic proportion differences to develop their marketing and promotional strategies. And based on my result, topic 4 was the most prevalent, and topic 4 has the highest positive emotions level. So based on these results, they focus on these narratives, especially for producing their short form videos or teasers video. Despite these implications, this study has several limitations, but I chose two limitations. First one is that I analyzed only YouTube sports documentaries, but there are a lot of streaming platforms like Netflix or Prime Video currently providing sports documentaries. So I selected YouTube because it allows for comment data, but on the other hand, Netflix does not have comment sections for viewers. So I chose this YouTube for data analysis. And also it has more sport documentary videos from diverse producers like individual creators or sports teams or broadcasters. But future research could analyze narrative themes across various media platforms because each platform has different distinct or different characteristics. And also I used lexicon-based approaches for sentiment analysis. And this has some of the limitations to accurately capture the context-specific content. So, for example, they classified these words, miss, RIP, and loss, and challenge as negative sentiment score. But in the sport documentary context, these words just means the narrative elements or narrative themes, right? So I would recommend using more fine-tuned transformer-based models using like machine learning-based to better capture domain-specific sentiment expressions. And that's it for today's presentation, and thank you for listening to my presentation, and I welcome any questions or advice. Thank you.